80,000 people. That is how many people moved to Idaho just last year. And a massive chunk of them came from one place. And no, it's not just California. A lot from California, but a lot from Oregon. So I'm comparing both states across 7 categories to figure out why. Idaho versus Oregon. We got crime, taxes, gun rights, entertainment, outdoor access, climate, and migration trends. I'm breaking down the actual data, not the headlines, not the hysteria, to show you what people are running from in Oregon and what they're running to in Idaho. And here's the thing, Oregon isn't collapsing yet. And Idaho isn't perfect. Have you seen our housing prices? But when you look at these 7 categories, the pattern becomes painfully obvious. One state is winning for a very specific type of person. And if that's you, this video is about to confirm what you've been Googling at 2 a.m. for the past 6 months. Let's get into it. Let's start with the category that's driving the most midnight Google searches, which is crime. Idaho has about 250 violent crimes per 100,000 people. Oregon has about 350 per 100,000. That's roughly 30% lower in Idaho. But here's where it gets a little spicy. Property crime, Idaho has around 1,100 property crimes per 100,000 residents. And that's the lowest property crime rate in the entire United States. Congratulations to us. We win the award for we don't steal each other's stuff. In Oregon, it's 2,900 per 100,000, nearly 3 times higher. And if you're in Portland specifically, you already know this is not theoretical. This is happening. Your catalytic converter has left the chat twice. Car break-ins, package theft, bike theft, it's basically Portland's unofficial tourism slogan at this point. Come for the food carts, stay because someone stole your wheels. But here's the plot twist nobody saw coming. Portland's violent crime actually dropped 51% in homicides in the first half of 2025. They led the entire nation in that decline. So Portland isn't the apocalypse zone the national media makes it out to be. It's just the property crime is still a complete and utter dumpster fire. Now, Idaho wins this category overall, and it's not even close. But, and this matters, Idaho's crime is not zero. Rural Idaho has higher drug-related crime than you'd expect. Meth, fentanyl, it's a problem. Turns out living in the middle of nowhere doesn't make you immune to addiction. It actually probably increases it. Who knew? And here's the kicker. Oregon's urban crime is concentrated in Portland and Salem. If you're in rural Oregon, you're statistically safer than Boise. So if you're fleeing Portland because you're tired of filing police reports online, Idaho does make sense. If you're fleeing Bend because you saw a homeless person, you might just be a little paranoid. My sister's gonna take offense to that. She lives in Bend and she complains about the homeless, but there's not a lot. Crime isn't the only thing people are running from. So let's talk about the thing that hits your bank account every single April and makes you question all your life choices. Taxes and economics. Now, I know this is everyone's favorite topic. It's mine for sure. Right up there with root canals and in-laws. Oregon has no sales tax, which sounds amazing until you realize their income tax goes up to 9.9%. Yikes. Where have we heard that? 9.9. Washington is copying them. That's right. One of the highest state income tax rates in the country. So sure, you have $6 on groceries, but the state takes 1/3 of your paycheck. It's a great trade. Idaho has 6% sales tax, but a flat 5.3% income tax. So on paper, Idaho wins the tax battle. You keep more of your paycheck, especially if you're a higher earner. The math checks out. Idaho is cheaper. Hooray. Except here's where it gets messy. Oregon's median household income is about $89,000 a year. Idaho's is $77,000. So Oregon pays you more to offset those taxes. It's like they tax you into oblivion, but also give you a raise to soften the blow. It's very, very generous. And then there's housing. Oh, housing. Buckle up. Idaho's home prices grew 140% over the last 10 years. 140%. Oregon's grew 60%, which is still bad, but compared to Idaho, Oregon looks downright, it's not reasonable. It says reasonable on the script, but I would say less painful, Maybe. So yeah, you'll save on income taxes in Idaho, but you're gonna spend every penny of it, and then some, on your mortgage. Because you're not just competing with locals anymore. You're competing with Californians who sold their $900,000 fixer-upper in the Bay Area and are paying cash for a 1,200 square foot house in Meridian, with a bidding war in February. So congratulations, you escaped Oregon's income tax. Now you get to pay $550,000 for a house that was worth $230,000 5 years ago. You're just living the dream. Taxes and housing are financial pain, but if you care about the Second Amendment, this next chapter is where the two states aren't even playing the same game. They're not even playing the same sport, really. Category 3, gun rights and firearm regulations. If you're a gun owner, this is the clearest divide between these two states. Idaho is a constitutional carry state, no permit needed to carry concealed, stand your ground laws, castle doctrine, broadly recognized reciprocity with other states. Basically, if you own a gun, Idaho trusts you to carry it. Wild concept if you're in Oregon, I know. Oregon, not so much. You need a permit to carry concealed. Very limited reciprocity with other states. So that permit you worked hard to get in Oregon is not exactly going to work in Idaho. It's worthless, in fact. Measure 114, which requires a permit just to purchase a firearm, is currently being litigated in court because nothing says freedom like asking the government for permission to exercise a constitutional right. Idaho says stand your ground. Oregon says run away and hope for the best. Good luck with that. There's no but here. If gun rights matter to you, Idaho wins, period. End of discussion. If they don't, you probably rage quit this video 3 minutes ago and you're already typing an angry comment. I'll see you in the comments section. All right, if you're actually considering this move, not just hate watching from Portland, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. I make videos like this every week breaking down what it's actually like to live here in Idaho. No fluff, no real estate pitch. Just the straight story. And if you're serious about making the move and want to talk through your specific situation, reach out to us at the phone number or email address listed below. And you can also scan this QR code if you want to schedule a time to talk with me or my team. We'll walk you through what this move actually looks like for your family specifically. All right. Let's get back to it. So far, Idaho is winning in crime, taxes, and gun rights, 3 for 3. But here's where Oregon fights back, because if you care about entertainment, culture, and having something to do on a Friday night that isn't a high school football game or Applebee's, Oregon just entered the chat. Let's be honest about what Idaho doesn't have. Oregon has the Portland Trail Blazers, which is NBA basketball, the Timbers and Thorns, which is professional soccer, and the Moda Center, which seats 19,000 people. Autzen Stadium in Eugene seats 54,000, and international touring acts stop in Portland. Broadway shows, big concerts, major sporting events. Not here. Idaho has the Idaho Steelheads, the ECHL hockey, which is great if you love minor league hockey. It's just not the NBA. We also have Pioneer League Baseball, which is basically the baseball equivalent of we have MLB at home. And Boise State football, which, don't get me wrong, is a religion here. They got the blue turf, the tradition, and the fact that we occasionally beat a ranked team and lose our minds, but it's not the NBA. Ford Idaho Center in Nampa seats 12,000, and the ICCU Arena in Boise seats 4,000. If Metallica is touring, they're stopping in Portland, not Boise. If Taylor Swift is doing a stadium tour, she's hitting Seattle, not Idaho Falls. So yeah, Oregon has big city entertainment. Idaho has Boise State football and a really solid minor league hockey team that most people have never heard of. I'll be honest, I've never heard of them. Now, here's the thing. Boise has some of this. You can catch concerts, you can see live sports, there's a food scene, breweries. It's not a cultural wasteland. But if you're in Coeur d'Alene, Twin Falls, or Idaho Falls, you're watching Netflix or driving to Spokane, which in Coeur d'Alene, it's only like 40 minutes. It's not too bad. It's a pretty dirty city, I'll be honest. They kind of keep it gross for a reason, I think. But yeah, that is an option. So if you're used to grabbing last-minute NBA tickets or catching a Broadway tour without planning a weekend trip, Idaho is going to feel small. Really small. Like the biggest event this month is the county fair, small. Entertainment is where Oregon wins, no contest. But here's the category where both states are absolutely stacked, and it just depends on what kind of outdoors person you are. This is why people move to the Pacific Northwest in the first place. Not for the taxes, not for the politics, for this. Both states are absolutely loaded with public land. Oregon is 53% federal land, about 32 million public acres. You've got the coast, the Cascades, the high desert, massive forests, and Idaho is 62% federal land. land, about 33 million public acres, mountains, alpine lakes, whitewater rivers, backcountry that goes on forever. Both states offer over-the-counter hunting tags for some species, though Idaho's getting more limited as the population grows, because it turns out when you add 80,000 people a year, the elk get a little more stressed. Who knew? Fishing licenses are comparable, about $30 to $35 for residents in both states. So here's the deal. This one is definitely a push. Both states win, but the flavor is totally different. Oregon gives you ocean, rainforest, high desert, and mountains. You can surf in the morning and ski in the afternoon if you time it right and have absolutely no regard for your spine. Idaho gives you alpine lakes, fly fishing, whitewater rafting, and endless wilderness. If you're a surfer or a beach person, Idaho has nothing for you. Sorry, we don't have an ocean. We have lakes, really cold lakes sometimes, but you can surf. If you can afford a wake surf boat or you're able to make friends with one, you can surf in that style. But yeah, no traditional ocean surfing here. If you're a backcountry skier, a fly fisherman, or someone who thinks getting lost in the wilderness for 3 days sounds fun, I definitely do, Idaho is your Disneyland. So you got to pick your poison. Both states win here. Just depends if you want tide pools or trout, crashing waves, or crashing into trees on a mountain bike. Outdoor access is a tie, but there's one thing both states share that nobody warns you about, and it's about to ruin your summer, every summer, forever. So far, we've covered crime, taxes, guns, entertainment, and outdoor access. Idaho's winning most of them, but if you think moving to Idaho means escaping all of Oregon's problems, this next category is going to be a rude awakening because Mother Nature doesn't care about state lines. Let's talk about weather. And by weather, I mean smoke. Both Oregon and Idaho get hammered by wildfire smoke every summer. 4 to 8 weeks of it, sometimes longer. The sky turns orange, the air smells like a campfire, except it's not a campfire. It's half of Oregon burning or half of Idaho burning, or both. Sometimes Canada gets in the action too, just to spice things up. It sucks, I'll be honest. Now, beyond the smoke, the climates are pretty different. Oregon's split by the Cascades. West of the Cascades, mild, wet, coastal climate. It rains a lot. Like you own 4 jackets and they're all damp a lot. 5 inches of snow on the coast, maybe 30 inches in eastern Oregon. In Idaho, it's cold to extreme cold everywhere, except Boise, which is more moderate. Boise gets about 20 inches of snow a year, which is pretty manageable. North Idaho and the mountains, about 60 inches or more. It's real winter. Not it might snow once and the city shuts down winter. Not we're out of salt and the mayor is declaring a state of emergency winter. I need a snowblower, winter tires, and a generator in case the power goes out for 3 days winter. It's fun times. It really is. The humidity, Oregon's wet on the west side. High humidity, lots of rain, your hair will never cooperate, except it now. Idaho is dry, consistently low humidity year-round. Your skin will crack, you'll buy lotion in bulk, but hey, at least your hair looks great.
It's a handicap to be classically handsome.
Don't I know it?
So if you're coming from Portland, Idaho's winters are going to hit different. We're talking real winter, 4 actual seasons, not drizzle for 9 months and then it's summer. So yeah, you'll get 4 actual seasons in Idaho, you just might hate 3 of them. Climate is a wild card, so let's talk about the final category, the one that explains why 80,000 people are making this move in the first place. Here's the big picture. Idaho is one of the top 5 states in the U.S. for inbound migration. Between 2020 and 2024, Idaho saw a 4.7% net migration rate, the highest in the nation. We're number 1 in people moving here, whether we want them or not. 58% of Idaho's inbound migration comes from California, but Washington and Oregon are major contributors too. In 2018, about 4,700 people moved from Oregon to Idaho, and that number has only grown. Oregon, meanwhile, ranked 45th for net migration in 2023. They are losing people. Specifically, they're losing prime earning age residents, the people who make $75,000 to $150,000 a year. The ones who can afford to leave, the ones who look at their tax bill and their property crime report and say, you know what, I'm out.
Done.
So what's driving this? Politics is definitely a part of it. Oregon is deeply blue in the urban areas, red in the rural areas, and Idaho is deeply red statewide, with Boise starting to trend towards purple, which does make the locals pretty nervous. So if you're conservative and you're tired of feeling like your vote doesn't matter in Portland, Idaho feels like a political homecoming. Your people are here. Your values are here. The government isn't actively trying to annoy you. It's pretty refreshing, to be honest. But it's not just politics. It's taxes, it's crime, it's gun rights. It's the sense that Oregon cities are moving in a direction that doesn't align with your values anymore, and you're tired of fighting it. People aren't fleeing Oregon because it's objectively worse. They're fleeing because their priorities shifted. And Idaho aligns with those new priorities better than Oregon does. But here's the consequence nobody talks about. Idaho's growth is pricing out locals. Wages haven't kept up with housing costs, not even a little. The median home price in Idaho is now higher than the national average. A state that was once known for being affordable is now not at all. And the Idaho you're moving to might one day become the thing you're running from. Rising costs, traffic in Boise, overcrowded trailheads in certain parts of the state, locals who resent transplants, and don't California my Idaho bumper stickers. It's a whole thing. So you're going to want to move quickly so that way you can be the old timer complaining about Californians and other people moving into the state and the cycle can continue. So that's the breakdown. 7 categories. Idaho wins in crime, taxes, and gun rights. Oregon wins in entertainment and coastal access. Outdoor recreation is a tie, just pick your flavor. And climate is a wild card. And migration trends show that 80,000 people a year have already made their choice. And honestly, if you made it this far in the video, you already know which state you're choosing. You're just looking for someone to tell you that you're not crazy. And we can be that for you. Just give us a call, text, or email, or scan the QR code and schedule a time to talk with me and my team. We do this every single day, and we can help you figure out where in Idaho is the right place for you to live. If you like this video, I'm really confident you're going to love this one, so make sure you check it out, and I'll see you on that one.